As I stood at the kitchen window, staring out into the backyard, I couldn't help but feel a sense of disappointment. The garden that once thrived with vibrant colors and fragrant smells had long since been neglected, overrun with weeds and dead plants. "Are you okay, honey?" my husband asked, coming up behind me and placing a hand on my shoulder. I sighed. I miss the old garden. It used to be so beautiful. He nodded sympathetically. "Yeah, I know. We just haven't had the time to take care of it." And he was right. Between work and other responsibilities, our free time was scarce. But as I continued to look out at the sad state of our backyard, I felt a longing to bring it back to life. "I think we should do something about it," I said finally. My husband raised an eyebrow. "Like what?" I bit my lip, hesitant to reveal my idea just yet. "Well, what if we enlisted some help?" "Help? Like hiring a landscaper or something?" I shook my head. "No, actually, I was thinking maybe we could ask your mom." His eyes widened in surprise. "Really? My mom?" I nodded. My mother-in-law had always had a green thumb and loved spending time outdoors, tending to her own garden. "Yeah," I said with a smile. "I think she would really enjoy it." My husband considered this for a moment before finally nodding in agreement. "Okay," he said. "Let's give it a try." The next day, I called my mother-in-law and asked if she would be interested in helping us revive the garden. She agreed eagerly, and before long, she was standing in our backyard alongside me and her son. Together, we surveyed the area and made plans for what needed to be done, pulling weeds, clearing away debris, planting new flowers and herbs. It was a big project, but I couldn't help feeling a surge of excitement as we began to work. Over the next few weeks, my mother-in-law and I spent countless hours in the garden, getting our hands dirty and feeling a sense of satisfaction with each weed we pulled and each seed we planted. As we worked side by side, I found myself growing closer to her, sharing stories and laughter. And as the garden slowly began to come back to life, so did something between us. At first, it was just small touches, a hand on the shoulder for support, or a brush against the arm as we reached for the same tool. But with each passing day, those touches became more intentional, more lingering. One afternoon, as we were planting flowers along one of the rows, my mother-in-law's hand grazed mine, sending a shiver down my spine. I looked up at her, surprised by the sudden electricity that passed between us. Our eyes met, and in that moment, I knew. With a mixture of fear and anticipation coursing through me, I leaned in and kissed her softly on the lips. She responded eagerly, wrapping her arms around me as our kiss deepened. The scent of fresh soil and blooming flowers filled my senses as we stood there in the middle of the garden like two forbidden lovers. From that day forward, our time in the garden took on a whole new meaning. What had once been an innocent project had now become a secret romance, hidden behind rows of zinnias and basil plants. We would steal moments together whenever we could, under the cover of darkness, or during my husband's brief trips away from home. And with each stolen kiss or caress among the flowers and herbs, our desire for one another grew stronger. But with desire came guilt. Every time I looked into my husband's eyes, or watched him interact with his mother, I was reminded of the betrayal that lay beneath the surface. And as much as I wanted to be with my mother-in-law, I couldn't help but feel torn. The garden had brought us together, but now it threatened to tear us apart. The very thing that had given me so much joy was now a constant reminder of the secret I carried. And so, one evening, as I stood alone among the rows of flowers and herbs, I made a decision. It was time to end it, for both our sakes. I took one last look at the garden, the place where our love had blossomed, and felt a pang in my heart. But deep down, I knew it was the right thing to do. And with that, I walked away from the garden and from my mother-in-law, leaving behind a piece of my heart among the petals and leaves.